let's take a quick look at the storytelling power that we have built into our lenses, especially if we have a zoom lens. Here I've got a 24-105 on my camera, and I'm showing you the view to start with at 50 millimeters. I want to tell the story of Brando in the foreground and the house in the background. At 50 millimeters, the distance between Brando and the house looks the same as it does to the human eye, and the relative size from where I'm standing of the house and Brando look the same as it does to the human eye. So if you want to tell a realistic or documentary story, maybe use 50 millimeter lens setting on your full frame camera with a 24-70 or 24-105 millimeter lens. Now what happens if we want to emphasize Brando? What if we want to say Brando is the king of this castle? Well, what we'd have to do then is go to a wide angle lens setting. As you can see here, here's a wide angle lens setting, 24 millimeters, but now Brando and the house are small. So we need to move in really close to Brando to make them the same size as before. So I'm moving in close, and look at, as I'm moving in, that house in the background diminishes in size and importance, and Brando becomes huge. He's gigantic. He is the king, the regal king of this castle. But what if we want to do something different? What if we want to say, that castle is worth a lot of money, and I paid tons of money for it, and I want to show that it's huge relative to Brando. Well, let's zoom out to our 105 millimeter setting, which is right there. Okay, and now of course we can't get both Brando and the house in the frame, so we're going to have to walk back. And let's try to keep Brando and the house in relatively the same position in the composition. But now, watch what happens as we walk backwards. Brando becomes this tiny little mutt, a tiny little unimportant, just a side footnote. And the house is the giant story that we wanted to tell. And a zoom lens is super versatile because you can tell 3 different stories in one lens. So if you have a 24-105, 24-70, 17-55 on a crop sensor camera, something like that, use it the way it was meant to be used, and that's telling stories. Do you want to emphasize the foreground? Then move in close with a wide angle lens. Here we come. And Brando's happy about when we're close. Or do we want to show the standard view, put it in the middle of your zoom range, and tell the standard view? Or do you want to tell the background story? And the background is really, really important. Then zoom out and get the background view. In the end, the most important tool you have is not your lens or not your camera, but are these beasts down here. They're your feet. Use them to tell better stories, and then you will be a good photographer.